Captora, so we're talking about top of the funnel, okay? And Captora is a revolutionary new technology platform. It's there were yesterday when we did this in Glasgow, they were the first people in the UK to see it. So you guys are the second group of people in the UK to see this, and it combines what Captora does. Combines real data, content, and competitive insights to engage all of your kind of new buyers and searchers across multiple kind of channels, so search, advertising, and social. It transforms that whole kind of inbound, how you handle inbound, on its head, and they will show you dramatically increases the number of new leads that come in and the cost of acquiring them. So he's going to take you through how he does that. Dave is Senior Vice President of International Sales at Captora, and he's got more than 15 years of senior sales experience, most lastly for 5 years with Salesforce, where he led the top area in commercial business and opened the Chicago office, adding 400 years. So, welcome, Dave, and happy Thanksgiving. And it's about 6:30 in the morning or something over in Silicon Valley. So,
Yes, thank you. Sorry I couldn't be there in attendance. As Scott mentioned, it's Thanksgiving here, and I've got a house full of my relatives with my wife, so leaving her would not have been a smart move. But yeah, I've spent a lot of years dealing with the bottom of the funnel, working at Salesforce, and I'm really excited to be here at Captora and with you guys today to talk through some new exciting technology that's really going to help at the top of the funnel and really engaging new buyers, going out and finding the people who aren't aware of your brand, aren't aware of your new products or differential products, and help get them into the top of the funnel. As we walk through this, we'll talk through this new buyer engagement team, how companies are working to sort of pull together the right people, and what Captora does as a platform to provide a common place to share ideas, collaborate, and really focus on those new buyers and getting them into that top of funnel. And then we'll see a live demonstration of what this looks like with a real case study of one of our great customers, ServiceMax. So I think we've all seen, and we'll probably see a couple more funnels today. But as we look through this, you know, it's a pretty common approach of taking your buyer from awareness to education through consideration and decision. And the way it's always worked is that sales gets all the budget and has all the tools to work through most of the funnel, and marketing has their role really around brand awareness and getting people's attention, doing that by maintaining the website and putting on things like events. But today, as we've talked about, and into the future, this shift is going to happen, and more of the budget is indeed going to marketing to carry those buyers further through the decision-making process, and they're going to have more tools, and they're going to have really more responsibility on going across different channels, going across things like paid advertising, creating an organic strategy, having analytics and all that, and sales is going to go back to the old days of just drinking with the customers and maybe playing a little golf. But how do they do this? Really, it's become focused around this demand generation role, and that person leading the charge to pull the team together, bringing in their marketing executive, bringing in the content marketing people, whether they live in the same organization or different organizations, bringing in third-party partners, bringing in agencies. And the problem is they're doing a lot of manual work, and they're working in silos, and they're all going after this problem with their own set of tools. They've got their different tools for their CMS and blogs, and they're creating videos and social and all this different content and forums, but they're working very disparately, and they've got to come together on a single platform. And if they really want to beat the competition, and that's really what we're seeing in this B2B space, is that it's really, you know, how do you get to these buyers before the competition? But they've got some major roadblocks. The first is it's not data-driven. The decisions that they're making and the choices that they're deciding on as they spend, they're either guessing or they're using techniques that worked yesterday and say, oh, well, this worked last year, why won't it work this year? But they don't have the real data to back that up. It takes a lot of work, and it's slow to try and do something, for example, like create large amount of campaigns to cover all the potential searches and concepts that your buyers are looking for. It takes a lot to create, optimize, and really even identify those campaigns that need to be created. And finally, there's no real trust in the data. I can remember sitting in executive meetings at Salesforce when we're talking about the pipeline, and they'd give some great high-level stats, and we'd ask one or two questions, and the whole thing would fall apart and unravel because nobody across the funnel really owns those metrics. So without that quality reporting, you can't know that you're going to get the right budget and prove that you need the budget to continue to spend in this area around content and around engaging new customers. So how do we do that? Well, there's been tools around to automate the bottom of the funnel for years now, Salesforce and CRM on the marketing automation space for the last 10 years. It's really about nurturing your known contacts, and you guys will be talking a lot more about that later today. But really, how do we engage those new buyers and have an automated platform to do that? Well, that's where Captora comes in. And to do that, we break it into three key areas. The first is C. Go out and look at what content you have, look at what content your competitors have, and then compare that to what buyers are actually searching for, and mash that together to give you a full view of where you have gaps and where you have opportunities to go out and build new content and beat the competition to those buyers. All of this needs to be actionable. So the Captora platform allows you to automate the creation of landing pages and get very specific as to which content to create and give you the workflow and tools to do that. And finally, reporting across the entire funnel. You've got to be able to see what's going on, see what's working, what content is working at which stage with which persona if you're gonna win and beat the competition. What's that look like? Well, first, Captora makes sure that the application is beautiful. You'll see this in the demonstration. It's got to be easy to use and intuitive. But when we look at the 5 modules that Captora has, it starts with real-time buyer and competitive intelligence. The ability to, again, track in real time, get real updates as to all the content, all types, all channels that you and your competitors are putting out there. The next is on the really the SEM side. How do we optimize conversions when somebody clicks on one of your ads, bring them to your page, and really allow you to tailor the title, tailor the call to action, tailor the subtext, tailor everything on the page to the demographics of that buyer to increase conversion rates dramatically. And we'll see some case studies around that as well. On the organic side, it's really about the long tail. How do I create content at scale and have the productivity tools in place to create everything that I need to surround the key terms that I have. We'll see some demonstrations of that. On the content side, I need to be able to first identify what is the right content to create, and then have the platform to do approvals, do submissions, do ideation around the content. And finally, having full funnel analytics is a real advantage, and doing it in a time series manner where it's not just a point in time, but being able to see trends and identify where the market is moving so you can get ahead of it and make the right decisions. I won't bore you with the undercover technical details, but there's some pretty amazing secret sauce that allows us to do some deep crawling, not just at the page level, but actually down to the phrase level, using natural language processing to understand your content and your competitors' content. This analysis of the buyer demand, when you're out there looking at what people are searching for, automatically categorizing that and grouping that into a usable function is critical. And finally, it's infinitely scalable. This is cloud, and it's got big data behind it. So all the great technologies that you need to grow with this and do your real reporting are there. And someone like ServiceMax, which we'll hear a lot more about, 26% of all of their leads are coming in, and they've created millions of dollars in pipeline from Captora by going out and engaging new buyers with the right content. What's this look like in action? Well, one of our great use cases is McRae&Co. They're another marketing automation vendor who uses Captora on both paid and organic search. The one I love about them, obviously the cost per lead is huge and everybody's looking at that. But with Captora, 90% of the leads that they're bringing in are actually non-branded. These are people who didn't know Marketo before, that weren't searching for the word Marketo, and they were brought to Marketo site because they had the right landing pages, because they had the right campaigns, and were paying for the right search terms because they were using Captora. Pretty valuable to have that many new leads coming in, and not just people, searching for your name to find you. Couple other great stats before I jump into the demonstration. ServiceMax, this was really actually a one-woman show. Janelle, the head of demand generation over there, when she started about 9 months ago with Captora, had about 50 to 60 pages on their website, and we're using that for all of their traffic. Since then, as you know, with herself, and she ended up getting one part-time consultant. They've created over 900 organic pages, and their traffic has gone through the roof, and their conversions have gone through the roof, and their cost per lead is gone down significantly. App Dynamics, I was mentioning this ability to find out what your users are looking for and buyers care about. They've identified with Captora over 5,000 signals. These are specific terms and phrases that their customers or potential customers are looking for, that they need to go out and address. Again, just you can't come up with those on your own. You need a tool to help grab those and categorize and organize them for you. And again, their conversion rates as well, 30% higher with Captora. Huge return. So as I shift over to the demonstration, are there any quick questions, or Scott, anything out there? Scott, are you there? Was I just talking to myself for 15 minutes?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Crack on, Dave.
All right, excellent. Um, Great. So let's actually start the demonstration by putting ourselves in sort of one of our end customer shoes. So ServiceMax, I've mentioned a couple times, they provide field service software. So someone like DirecTV, or anybody who's got a fleet of trucks that are out there, they provide a scheduling and mobile application to help organize that field team. So one of the potential buyers is someone, not that sexy, but someone who does boiler services and goes out and fixes people's heaters and boilers. Now, if I'm in the boiler service business, I'm not thinking or knowing what brand to go out. I just know that I've been working off of paper for years, and it's time that I get a little bit more organized and have a better system for this. So I would come out to Google and I would type boiler service, which is what I do, and say software. And if I search for that, sure enough, there's a bunch of paid ones, and oftentimes I skip those because I don't trust those. And here pops up boiler service software, ServiceMax. So let's look at this. They seem to know exactly what I want. My search matches exactly what's in their URL. It matches the title. It matches the subtitle. It matches the full title of the page. I've got an interesting, little paragraph that talks about boiler service. It's like they know me, and I've got a great call to action here, and I'm going to engage, and I'm going to click on this and give them my information because they've gotten me so clearly know what I want. Now, this is where we'll hand off to a marketing automation system, and they'd fill in their form, and I'd start nurturing them. But think about what happened before that. I'm not going to submit this or mess up their stats. Let's go over to Captora. What's happened? How did we get to that point? How did they, get that specific when they cover a lot of different industries and have a lot of different products to do that? Well, that's that 900 pages that I mentioned that Janelle and her team have created with Captora, because they saw that there was this demand, that people were out there looking for these industry-specific ways of talking about service, and they've gone out and met that user there because they A, knew about it, and B, had the tools to create that content and a lot of other just like it. So let me give you a quick tour of the Captora dashboard. If I'm the demand generation person, this is my view of the world. I come in the morning and I can see, first off, as we mentioned before, the competitive stream. I've got to stay ahead of my competitors. I see here a full list of all the competitors that I'm focused on. I can look at my own content as well, just to see what else is out there. I don't always put my own stuff out there. Sometimes salespeople tweet it or put it out there into the world. Great to have one place where I can look at it. But let's pull my content out and maybe let's focus in on everything except social. And I can see someone like Field Aware has put out a blog that looks interesting. Click Software has put out a slide share, and I can, again, right here, come and see what they have in their content and how relevant it is to me. And if I think it's interesting, what's great is I'm not only learning about it, I can take action on it. I can save this idea, I can put it, give it a name, describe it, and save it off and work and collaborate with the rest of the team to turn it into an actual document, an actual asset that I can then go publish. But before we jump there, let's look at some of the other great visibility I'm getting into my world and my content and my process. So this is our scorecard. The first thing I'm seeing is that I'm third in content. We break this into 4 areas. The first is content. Do I have the right content to meet what my buyers are looking for? Second is, okay, I've created the right content. Am I getting it out in front of them? Do I have the right reach where they're going to actually see and engage with this content? The next is when I do have them, are they engaging and staying on the content? Do I have good content? And finally, are they converting? Is it good enough content that they're not only going to spend time on it, but they're going to actually give me their information and become a lead? And if I click into one of these, I can see the details of it. I can see that I'm in third place when it comes to content, and first place when it comes to reach. So I may not have the absolute ideal information, but I'm doing a better job than my competitors of getting it in front of customers. I can see other things like what's the top campaigns that I have out there, what's converting the most, maybe go double down on theirs, or maybe even go spend some money on paid search if I'm getting getting good conversions. And this one I love as well, because this is showing me my gaps. This is showing me that I'm getting some great visitors to these sites, but I'm not getting the conversions. So I've got to go in there and tweak and tune and find, and adjust my system. And I think this is a good point to make. This tool, probably the best analogy I've heard, it's not a diet pill. It's not going to, magically help you lose weight or help you get leads. It's a gym membership. It's an ability for you to have the right tools, the right trainers, the right platform to go in and build your body, build your system. And this is a great example of that, right? If I can go in here and say, okay, wow, I've got all these visitors coming in and I'm losing them along the process, I've got now a place to go in and quickly dive through to my campaigns and see where I can adjust them and really take advantage of what I've seen. Let's take that a step deeper. So we looked at a high level how my content is doing, but down to the demand, we call it demand families, but these are these groups of search terms where, again, the engine has gone out, found thousands and thousands of search phrases and 3-word searches and grouped them together in a very logical way to me to be able to use them. So I can see here field management, improve service, improve efficiency, build growth. All of these, I can see where I rank against my competitors, and I can get down to the actual type of content that I have and that they have to see where my gaps are. So I may go into something like increased service. I'm ahead and I want to stay ahead. So I can go in, drill in here, and see some of the content that I have. I can see some ideas of where I continue to stay ahead. So increased service versus goods. So I can say, you know what, this is an area I want to create something in. I can create a web page from that and go in and actually edit it. And this will bring up the editor that will be where you, kind of like we saw with the live page. This is what Janelle and team would do to edit that. So first of all, Captora is helping a lot. It's already populated the URL. It's populated the title. It's pulled in their templates for a great look and feel. The subtitles there, the description. The description actually is pulled from snippets from the documents and assets that they have. I can look at other ideas of what I may want to put in here from our own site, from our competitors. I can look at the quality warning. I can see, hey, is there spam involved in this? And in this case, hey, yeah, careful. You've got 93% spam. That means we've got to do some adjustment to it to make sure we're not similar to other pages. But again, at scale, I can go in and look at this. I can even preview it live. I've got all the tools here to increase my productivity around building these paid and organic campaigns that'll really help my process. So let's go back. I think a couple other key pieces to see. First, the organic manager here. Give me that one place to show all of my sites that I'm working on. They've actually created over 1,300 campaigns. Not all of those are live, but I've got one place to go in and manage them, do workflow, see where I've got high spam levels, and actually even see full analytics across this. So in this case, I can see these 971 sites that are live, the number of visitors I'm getting, where my visitors are trending, what are my top assets, what are my top call to actions, what are my top demand families, what are the ones that people are really searching for and connecting with me on. Where am I getting my traffic from? What devices am I on? So really a full breakdown of everything I would need to stay on top of these buyer demand signals, stay on top of my competitors, and stay on top of what I've created. Probably the last thing, there's some assets I can show you, the ideas we talked through, but just to keep things to the point, the analytics across funnel are unprecedented. Again, working at Salesforce, I know we can do great moment-in-time analytics and say, yep, this is what's going on right now. But to be able to go in and say, this is what's happening across the funnel, and here's the trends that I'm seeing, you just can't do it with Salesforce or with normal CRM and marketing automation. So this is giving me a full view of by source, by type, both Captora and non-Captora, what's converting. And conversion rates for Captora 17%, other paid ones 7%. On Captora, my organic 1%, pretty good on industry standards. We've jacked it up to 4% on their Captora one. So getting to not only get those great results, but see that and see how I'm doing, right? In this case, I've got a great visualization of that across the board, I'm getting 6,000 visitors with a 58% conversion into opportunities and leads. I can look at mine, others, and again, across the different channels as well. So that's a quick tour of Captora. The key things to keep in mind is with especially things like the buyer intelligence and the competitive view, you get up and get value out of this product in days and weeks. From there, we'll help you build the campaigns, and then over the next couple months, you'll start seeing that traffic going through the roof. Again, not the diet pill, not going to turn it on and overnight, thousands of new leads coming in, but give you the right tools to build that up the right way and not try and fool the search engines, not try and do anything, crazy SEO, but doing it the right way by helping promote your good content and showing you where content should come. So if I had to wrap it all up, really it comes down to this. For the first time, marketers can monitor and get alerts as to what their new buyers and competitors are doing out there and take action on it. They can prioritize the new digital campaigns. There's a lot to create out there, a lot of great ideas flowing around. Well, what do you make first when you're this busy? Well, let the data show you. Let it show you where the competitors are and where your buyers are. You can test and optimize for that conversion to go through the roof. You can have that productivity and have the 10x that reach by creating those additional landing pages and surround your existing pages. You can get that real ROI. One of the stories I love hearing and telling is DocuSign spent $1 million on an ebook from Gartner. They put all their, half their budget behind this thing. Probably not half of it, but a good portion of their budget behind it, and they couldn't tell what was working. Had they made a good investment? Well, with Captora, they could actually track that asset everywhere it was used, anytime it was linked to, anytime it was put out publicly. they could pull that in and see, was that generating leads and was that actually creating real revenue on the other side. Really powerful. And again, finally, the trusted analytics. To have one view where you can incorporate your CRM and marketing automation uh, analytics in one place to know that you're telling the truth and have a full story when it comes to the pipeline analytics. So that's it, Scott. That's the introduction to Captora and how we can help with the top of funnel. Is there any questions out there I can field?
Questions? No, I've got one, Dave, which is well, a couple. Typically, how long does it take to get R2 ROI? Do you find for clients?
So, yeah, the implementation is literally, our average is about 14 days, and a lot of that is just getting the right people in the room. The actual setup is several hours, and with that, you'll get immediate ROI where we'll crawl your content and crawl your competitors' content, and you'll start seeing those demand signals right away. In terms of getting the leads, in terms of seeing the full ROI, it's twofold. One is on the paid side. With the optimization that we can help you do, it can be fairly immediate. You're going to obviously do some testing and want to optimize it that way. On the organic side, more like a couple months. As you've built these out, it takes some time to improve the rankings and get those conversions.
Great. Okay. Richard.
So, would this replace things that are potentially already using, or would this be a brand new thing I've introduced to use?
So Rich's question was, will this replace, what we're currently using at top of the funnel, or is it a kind of another thing there? So is it an adding onto it, or is it replacing?
Yeah, for the most part, it again depends what you're using. The reality is most people are either not using any sophisticated tools or have some pretty basic point solutions to do some of these things. So hard to tell. Ideally, we'll be consolidating a lot of those applications, and point solutions that you've had into one complete platform where you can get everything done.
Okay, that's great. Hey, look, Dave. Well, look, thank you so much for taking the time to join us, and have a great Thanksgiving. And
all right.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the presentations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.